Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today I have a super fun card for you. It's my niece's first birthday next week, and I've never even had the opportunity to see her. So I'm really excited to be making this card for her, and I wanted to make it super fun, super bright, super colorful, and interactive, and lots of texture. So let's get going on the card in just a minute. Now before we do, I wanted to show you these two stacks that I picked up at my Joann's today. Tomorrow I believe is the last day that my Joann's will be doing this, but my Joann's is having anything that's red tagged, and these were red tagged. I don't know if you can see it, for $7.97, and then anything that's red tagged is 50% off. So I got both of these stacks for $7.97, and you cannot beat this. I don't know if you've seen this Summer Day stack. I'm going to go through it very quickly, and it just show you some of the fun paper. Look at that 4th of July paper. Lots of red, white, and blue. Everything in this is about, it just reminds you of summer. This says One Fine Day. Some of them have glitter on them. Perfect day for a picnic. Obviously, this is designed for scrapbooking. Watermelon sweet, happy summer, juicy, refreshing. But I can see great cards being made out of this, as well as maybe a scrapbooking layout someday if I ever get to scrapbook again. Just lots of fun colors and pictures, and there's glitter and just all sorts of fun things. So this is the stack, the original Summer Day stack, and then this is the cardstock stack that goes with it, and this paper is beautiful. This is just, in the back you have your different just plain colors that coordinate with your printed papers, and it's a textured cardstock. It's a really nice heavy weight and just in bright summery colors. And then as you go towards the front, you get into glittered papers. This is like a glittered blue, orange, this really pretty red. This is not really glimmer. This is more like the shimmer, or it's not glitter, it's just shimmery and shiny, this like a magentally purple. This, there's only one piece because I'm using a piece of this on today's project because I needed a pretty piece of lime green. There's pinks and blues and yellows and red, just gorgeous. Can't believe I was able to get them both for $8. So that was a super deal. So let's move on to today's card. Now today's card, I'm going to be using several things. I am going to be using Create a Critter, and I'm using the Cupcake on page 36 and all of its layers. And I cut that cupcake at 2.5 inches, so I'm just going to set that aside. And then I'm also using Doodle Type for this numeral 1, and I cut it, and I also cut the shadow for it, because this is going to be a super busy card, and so I wanted to have plenty of shadows. And I also cut the shadows for the cupcake on this one. Now, I cut the cupcake at 2.5, but I actually cut the numeral 1 at 4.25 because I wanted it to be really tall. Okay, and so I'm going to also, besides using that pretty shimmery green that I showed you from that summer stack, I'm also going to be using the Nana's Kids little stack, and this is a lot of fun. And I picked this up with, I think, a child in mind, and I'm actually using a couple of sheets from this stack. I'm using this page, which these are, I know you can't pick it up on camera, but they're actually embossed. You can maybe see it from the back side, and so that each of these dots are raised. And then I'm also using this paper, and this has glitter on it, and the pink and the greens, and so I'm going to be using that. So I'm also going to be using from TPC Studios, I'm going to be using the same Happy Birthday set that you've seen over the last couple weeks, and the one I'm using is from right down here. And I also picked up these little 59-cent Google Eyes at Joann's that I'm going to be using on my cupcake. And so let's get started. Now to start, I'm going to start with a white card base that I've already scored and cut. It's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper cut in half to form a 4 1/4 inch card by 5 1/2. And I hadn't really decided which way I was going to go with it. But I think we're going to go this way and open it up this way. And this is our numeral 1. But let's start first of all with our base, our next layer, which is that fun polka dot paper. And I've cut that at 5 inches by, or 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Now, because it's embossed, I want to use plenty of adhesive on the back because, as you know, paper that's embossed can sometimes come up very, very simply or very easily. So I want to be sure it sticks because I do have to get it mailed to Colorado where my little niece lives. So that is the first layer. Isn't that fun already? Now we're going to put our numeral 1 down, which is why I wanted to put the shadow. As you can see, I cut the shadow in that shimmery green, lime green paper. I think I'm about to lose a light. I hope that's not going to go drive you bonkers on camera, but one of my lights just started blinking. But we're going to take this numeral 1 and I am going to center it in the center of the card, right like so. And then I'm going to take my next one. Again, I cut this at 4 1/4 inches. And we are going to layer that right over the top. You can already see how bright and colorful. That one almost gets lost even with the green, which I was hoping it wouldn't, but I think it's going to be okay. My 1-year-old niece definitely isn't going to care. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble our cupcake. Now I have cut the layers out for the cupcake. Now this little pink and white is just some pink and white that I used, or it's pink, 2 shades of pink actually, and I believe it's from Doodlebug. It's 2-sided paper and I wanted to use this side and I am not 100% sure, but I think it's from Doodlebug. It was just a scrap I had in my stash. We're going to layer that right like this. Now there's something I wanted to talk to you about. On the Doodle Charms cartridge, there is a cherry that goes on the top of this particular little cupcake. But the cherry only cuts out in one piece. And I'm kind of particular and I wanted a red cherry with a brown stem. So what I did is I cut the cherry twice, once in brown and once in red. And then I hand trimmed with my scissors the cherry stem off so that I would actually have a red cherry. Now it's not a red cherry because I felt like the kind of berry tone matched better, but then you can see I can layer it up and nobody ever knows that I did that. The other thing I want to show you is the frosting. Now I like Divine Swirls for my frosting, and I've done this cupcake before and I've made it actually quite a bit larger because that was the main image on the card. And I like to run it through Divine Swirls because to me it reminds me of swirly frosting and I just think it's pretty, so that's why I did that. But the cherry actually has to be adhered to the base before the little cupcake frosting does, and I went ahead and used the lime green to cut the shadow to do that. And so let's go ahead and layer that, and I have to try to remember here. I can't remember which piece I have to layer. As you can see, I already turned this into a sticker just to make it go a little more quickly here. I think we'll go ahead and put the base of my cupcake down just like so, and it's not going to be completely straight. You'll just see some of that coming through. And then we'll put our cherry on. The frosting has to go on very last. Where does it? Let me think about this. No, we'll put the frosting on next. Just like that. And then you have that little bit of black coming through. And then on the very top, we'll put our cherry on the top. Just like that. Now I've already popped this up on foam tape, and that is going to kind of go, well, I was going to center it, but I thought I made it small enough I could. Maybe we'll just kind of move it off. Maybe I'll move it down here to the side. Like I said, this card is far busier and far more fun. I mean, I usually don't use all these bright patterns. Maybe I'll just put it just like that, and then maybe do a bow or something on the side. So let's go ahead and put that down. I had this plan in my head, and I thought I had it worked out so it would work, and of course now it isn't turning out quite like I thought. But I think it's going to be cute for a 1-year-old to see all the colors. It'll keep her mind and eyes busy, even though it might be a little bit busier than what I normally make. Okay, just like that. I wonder if I could pull that one up. I think I can. Pull that one up and shift it over just a little bit. Maybe I'll even put it at an angle. There we go. There, I like that better. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our eyes on. And I've grabbed my quick dry adhesive here to do that. These eyes are just barely the right size. I tried them to see which size eyes I wanted to use, and they are just barely the right size. And I just want a little dab of glue because, as you know, it's wet glue and it will spread. Although if it spreads a little bit, it's really okay because it is clear. It will dry clear. It's not clear now, but it will definitely dry clear. Alrighty. There we go. And then give the eyes a shake so they'll move. There we go. That'll be fun. And then I think what I'm going to do is, in a minute, I pulled out my Hampton Mart Studio G glitter glue, and we're going to glitter up our cherry right there. But before we do, let's go ahead and do the inside of the card. And I've got my paper cutter here, and I am going to just put a strip of this fun paper at the bottom, and I think I'm also going to put a little bit of that green underneath it. But I don't want to do a lot of that because I want to have room to stamp my sentiment and then be able to write, and I'm just not 100% positive on how well this paper would allow me to write, and so I don't want to go too far with that, but I think I can use just right between where my die cuts went and save paper. I'm always trying to save every bit of paper that I can. There we go. And then we'll just mount it in just a second. Now, I didn't have the right color pink that I wanted to be able to stamp my images. In fact, I actually found one that is more towards the darker redder side, but it's kind of in the same tone as the others. And so that's what I chose to use, and it's Chianti. If you've seen the Chianti little color box cat eyes, that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to put some adhesive down here and just put that down just like so, just enough to add some interest. And then I'll just cut them as one piece. Quite get that. And let's see, I want to make that right at just under 4 1/4. 4. Just so there's just a little tiny, actually I'm going to just go ahead and make the whole thing at 4 1/4. And then we won't worry about any white showing at the bottom. About did that backwards. Now if that's hanging over on the edges when I'm done, I'll just trim it off by hand. So now we have our happy birthday here, and we are going to stamp that. Ink it up really well. These cat eyes are really old. I've had them for probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I'm guessing, maybe even longer than that. And I am actually going to stamp that up in this upper corner because that'll give me plenty of room to write a little message to her. There we go, happy birthday. So I have happy birthday, and then we have our kind of fun little card on the outside. Now let's finish it up with some Studio G glitter glue, and we'll just go over the top. Now this will dry pretty clear, but what I've noticed about the Studio G clear, and I'm not sure what color they actually call it, but it really picks up the tones because it is clear. It picks up the tones from what's around it, whether it's from what's under it or if it kind of reflects off some of the other colors around it. And it just adds that really nice little extra punch of color and prettiness there. And so I think I'll also go back, and you'll see it at the pictures at the end, and get some red glitter glue and fill in the lips just to add a little more color in there too. So there's our card for today. Happy birthday for Lily, and thanks for watching, and have a great day. Hello ladies, I'm back, and I have to tell you, when I was done with that card, it reminded me of what Sandy Alnock over at Operation Right Home refers to as sneeze. It was just so busy I couldn't even focus on anything, and I liked the bright colors, but it was just too busy. So what I did is, first of all, I pulled off those googly eyes, because with the swirls on the frosting and with that big smile, it kind of was creepy to me. So I thought, well, let's pull off the googly eyes, and I used some of that glitter glue in the eyes. And then I had some pink glitter glue that someone had sent me, and I used that in the mouth. And honestly, there's not a huge amount of difference between the pink glitter glue. Let's see if I can bring it in. There's really not much difference between the pink and the Hampton Art, but that's okay. And then I took this piece of pink kind of textured cardstock that was in my stash, and actually it was just the perfect size to do I cut it 3.5 inches wide by 4 3/4 inches tall, and I put my images on top of that. And then I just took my black soot distress marker and just did faux stitching around the edges, and I think it looks 100% better. So I just wanted to show you the finished project, and thanks for watching, and come back soon for more fun projects.